but my goal over the last 24 hours has been to demilitarize the response. And the second goal is to spend some time over there with people I work for across the street. I work for them, and I want to make sure that they have the space, the safety, the respect that they deserve as law-abiding citizens of this community, or any community, to protest. They need to be able to exercise their constitutional rights fully and completely, and I'm just here conveying that message to them. And then long-term, I'm taking names of some of the young leaders who want to give me their names, because I think one of the silver linings that might come out of this dark cloud is that there have been some very responsible and effective and articulate young leaders who have risen in this conflict, and we need them. We need them going forward. We need them to have longer dialogues, more structured dialogues about all the things that we need to be addressing so that everyone has their piece of the American dream. So that's my simple reason for being here.
What is your reaction to the police response so far? You've been watching, I'm sure, things unfolding on the news. What is your reaction to what you've seen so far with the police response?
First of all, I'm a former prosecutor, so I start with immense respect for law enforcement. But I think that last night the militarization of the response became more of the problem than any solution. I think it escalated the situation. It didn't de-escalate the situation. And so my goal has been to try to move out some of the military responses that they have been embracing and see if we can't get back to good, solid police work that keeps the protesters safe.
Senator, do you know if the National Guard is taking over tonight?
I do not.
Senator, can you talk about the so-called militarization of police, of local police, and the impact that you think that's having on law enforcement, particularly in a community like this right now?
Well, I just got off the phone with the Attorney General a few minutes ago, and he and I discussed the militarization of police departments all across this country. After 9/11, in sometimes a knee-jerk fashion, we began equipping police departments with all kinds of tools that had not been typical of policing in this country. And maybe it's time to look at all of that and make a determination as to how effective is a show of what is military force in a obviously intensely emotionally charged environment like the people of Ferguson are facing.
The chief said there's still men in blue. They don't look like men in blue. They look like soldiers. That perception is using there's a war out there. I mean, is that a concern you have?
I know what the chief of police wants. He wants everyone to be safe. I know what these protesters want. They want to exercise their rights. We can do that without escalating it. And when police come out and take a stand and wear and have equipment that makes it feel like that somehow the people who are protesting are assumed to be the bad guys, I don't think it helps take the tension out of the situation. I think it puts more tension in it.
Senator, one of the big problems here seems to be transparency. The community wants to know more about what the police know, what they're thinking, how the investigation's going. As a former prosecutor, Senator, do you think that enough information about the basic issue, the killing, has been released to the public?
What the community has demanded and they have received is a lot of eyes on this investigation. There are a lot of cooks in this kitchen, and the top levels of law enforcement in this country are engaged. The top levels of law enforcement in the state and federal system are engaged, and everyone is looking at all of the facts, the evidence, and the forensics. Now, when you put out information in drips and drabs, what suffers is the case. There are many times that putting information out in an investigation can have a very bad impact on getting to justice. So if the community would allow the investigation to be completed, the information will become public. The facts will become known, all of them.
But what about something like the officer's name involved? He's a public servant.
I'm not going to second guess law enforcement at the state and local level about information they are giving out, because I know they are all working to try to get all the facts, all of the forensics, all of the physical evidence, and make sure they find the truth.
What's your understanding of how the law enforcement response is going to change tonight, whether it be coordination by a different agency or different tactics?
I'm not aware of that. The governor has not communicated with me anything about it, and I'm not aware that he had communicated with even the county prosecutor or the county department. I think the governor decided what he was going to do, and I think we're all going to find out about it at the same time.
Senator, Chief Jackson called the situation a powder keg. How concerned are you about this getting even more out of control as clearly the emotions build, like out in front of the police department?
Well, that's one of the reasons I'm here. You know, you guys figured out I was over there, and I am here now. But this is really about me coming kind of by myself and hanging out and talking to everybody and making sure they understand that I get it, that they're great people. I mean, there's some tremendous young people across the street. I love it. Some of the officers would go over and, you know, have a bottle of water with them and talk to them.
Is that how you start to ease these tensions, or how do you
I
start
think
to ease
that's one of the ways you do it, is that, you know, the police that are doing their job, I'm not saying there aren't bad apples in police departments, but in my experience working with police departments, most of them only want to keep the community safe. And, you know, there's a reason why community policing is successful. It's because you develop relationships and you develop the kind of connections in the community that build your credibility, and most importantly, particularly in a situation like this, build trust.
What's your opinion about whether police should be